Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to talk about behavioral economics. I'm going to show you that even when we do not behave rationally, in reality we follow a very precise behavior, for which a whole new science was born. Marketing experts know this science very well, so it's time for us to understand it too. And we'll do it by talking about 3 psychological traps we fall into every time without even realizing it. Losing every time a lot of money. Trap number 1. Loss aversion and fear of missing out. Let's start with a little game. Imagine you were asked, very casually, to bet on a coin toss. Heads, you win $100. Tails, you lose $100. You're allowed to play once only. Would you take the gamble? Be honest, and don't try to give a logical answer. Just the answer you feel you would give if it was really your money at stake. Well, I don't know about you, but most of the people who were asked this question actually decided not to play. This means that people normally are more afraid of the risk of losing money than they are actually excited about the possibility of winning. Or said otherwise, people have a greater sensitivity to negative outcomes than to positive ones. This is a characteristic typical of human nature and is called loss aversion. If we represent the value that we give to the possibility of winning or losing in a graph, due to loss aversion, this graph will have a greater slope in the part of losses than in the part of wins. For example, in the experiment of the coin toss, it was proven that if you want to convince the average person to take up the bet, the risk of losing $100 should be balanced by a potential win of at least $200. Just to make another example, how do you feel about all this cryptocurrency hype? Maybe you thought several times about investing in Bitcoin a couple of years ago, but in the end you never did. And now it's natural that you feel some degree of regret, because you did miss a chance. But I'm sure you would have regretted a lot more if you had invested in Bitcoin and then it had turned out that it was indeed a bubble, making you lose money. So, after all, yes, you are not rich now, but it's also not that bad, right? Because technically you missed a chance, but you did not lose anything. And it always feels safer not to take any chance at all than to engage in something that you might regret in the future. Well, this is exactly loss aversion. But let's consider the other scenario and assume that you are actually investing in Bitcoin. Now, ask yourself, did you really believe in the potential of Bitcoin, or it is just because this other friend of yours is also investing in cryptocurrencies and you would be really pissed off if one day he gets millionaire and you don't? So whether you decided to invest or not, it is very likely that you took your decision out of fear of regret or a fear of missing out, and not for the only true reason you should or you should not invest, which is because you really think that Bitcoin is a good investment or a bad one. We constantly take decisions with the subconscious goal of avoiding losses, and the science of marketing knows this very well. So, is it Black Friday and you're anxious that you're not buying enough, or do you feel the urge to buy every time you read an offer saying limited edition or only available today? Well, all of these marketing messages are just playing with your loss aversion and fear of missing out. And yes, we fall for them more often than we want to admit to ourselves. Trap number 2. Anchoring effect. This is another well-known type of fallacy. The root of this fallacy lies in our laziness. That means we tend to make considerations and decisions based on a particular reference point or anchor. For example, have you ever wondered why prices end in 99? Simple. Consumers are lazy, so they subconsciously set the digits on the left as a reference for their purchase decisions. So, if I give you a discount from $300 to $199, you'll feel like you're saving a lot more money than if I gave you a discount from $299 to $200. Even though, after all, the difference is only €2. Or do you want to know which is the best way to sell a smartphone for more than it's worth? Very simple. Just put it next to a premium smartphone. The price of the premium item will serve as an anchor for the cheaper one, for which we will be able to increase the price by going almost unnoticed. Trap number 3. Overestimation of small probabilities. Have you ever wondered why lotteries always promise few prizes worth millions of dollars, and are not instead divided into smaller amounts so that more people can actually win each time. Imagine, instead of having virtually zero chance of winning $1 million, you could play many small lotteries with some real chance of winning a jackpot of, say, $1,000. The fact that we get seduced by extremely small possibilities of winning huge prizes reveals another typical behavior of human nature that is called overestimation of small probabilities. It means that we constantly tend to be too optimistic about low probability events. Is it a type of fallacy that we fall into every time we decide to buy a lottery ticket with basically no chance of winning, but also when we buy an overpriced insurance that we already know we'll never need, or even when we decide not to travel by plane for fear of flying, when everyone knows that statistically the plane is one of the safest means of transport? Of course, you'll say, well, when I play the lottery, my chances of winning are indeed very small, but if I do win, I can change my life for good. And that's true, of course. But think about how many times we spend money on almost impossible bets, and how many real chances to pocket money we declined every day, just because the promised jackpot is not attractive enough. If we accumulate all these missed chances, we'd realize that, in fact, over a lifetime, we have missed a lot of opportunities, and also a lot of money. Of course, there are many other psychological traps that are exploited by marketers, and there is nowadays a whole new science with mathematical models and experiments that try to take human behavior into account in economic models. The most mainstream economic models are based on the assumption that people are all rational when making decisions. Behavioral economics, instead, shows that this is not always the case. We make decisions trying or even thinking to be rational, but we don't always succeed. And when we don't succeed, we do so by following very precise behavioral patterns. So, for example, if you're interested in a more technical explanation on how to study the evolution of irrational trends, such as the growth and burst of financial bubbles, you can watch other videos on this channel. In any case, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned, coming next, the beauty of chaos theory.